Newcastle lose 5-0 against Manchester City and now prepare for their final home game of the season against Arsenal this coming Monday. Bruno has sent a plea to his good friend Paqueta to join the club, and Newcastle have requested permission from the council to improve the training ground. All of that, and Eddie Howe has been asked about summer transfers again, but has given a very interesting response on what players could be leaving this summer. Yes guys, how's it going? And welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. This is a video I do every Tuesday, so if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I know loads of you guys are actually watching this series at the moment, but still haven't hit that big red button. We're heading towards 30k subscribers, which is crazy, so if you're not subscribed yet, please do so. Newcastle lose 5-0 against Manchester City at the weekend. We'll just leave that there, shall we? We'll move on. But no, to quickly, and I mean quickly, go over the 5-0 loss against Manchester City. At the end of the day, they're a better team than we are. I called them a step ahead in my instant reaction. People were commenting and saying they were galaxies ahead. And to be honest, after that loss, I probably can't argue too much. Eddie Howe said he was disappointed in the way that we gave away a couple of the goals, and at the end of the day we weren't at our best, which again I can't argue with. To try and take some positives from the game, obviously we saw Wilson and Trippier re-enter the field for the first time in a long time. Really hoping that they can feature against Arsenal in the last home game of the season. I also want to shout out the away fans at that game, because despite us losing 3-4, 5-0, the Newcastle fans stayed till the end of the game to cheer the team off, whereas the Man City fans were leaving after the 75th, 80th minute. You wouldn't think we were the team that just got thumped 5-0 and they were the team in pole position to win the Premier League. So yeah, big up to all the Newcastle fans who went down there. I will be doing a full preview later in the week for the Arsenal game, so be sure to watch out for that. But just to quickly mention it now, the final home game of the season will be against Arsenal on Monday night at St James's Park under the lights. If you go into the game, let me know down below. It is on Sky, so if you're watching it at home or going to the pub, let me know down below as well. I cannot wait to get there. The atmosphere at St James's Park has just been phenomenal this season. It's the best atmosphere I've ever experienced there, so I cannot wait to get up there for the final game of the season. Now obviously it will be a tough game. Arsenal have won the last 4 Premier League games in a row, and they actually play on Thursday night against Spurs as well, and if I'm correct, they could be going to St James's Park with Champions League already wrapped up if they beat Spurs, or if they draw or lose, they'll be coming to St James's Park needing a win. So it's going to be a tough game, but it's one I'm excited for. If you want to let me know your predictions already down below, be sure to do so. Some exciting news at the weekend as the Newcastle youngster Elliot Anderson, currently out on loan at Bristol Rovers, helped them to promotion at the weekend after scoring the 7th goal in their 7-0 win at the weekend, picking up a few assists in that game as well. He's had a fantastic loan season out there, actually being called the Geordie Maradona by the fans thanks to his fantastic skill set. And it is the ex-Newcastle player Joey Barton who manages the side, and he had this to say: Elliot is a huge talent. He excites you, and he's showed a different gear to be the standout player on the pitch. So that's some great news to hear that a young player like that has gone there, had a fantastic loan spell. And because his season at Bristol Rovers is now over, and because we still have 2 games to go, it did create a little bit of a rumble as to whether we could potentially see him in a black and white kit before the end of the season. But the Premier League have basically come out and said that won't be happening, because he'd already been registered at one club. He can't now register for another, even though technically he's a homegrown player and under the age of 23, so he doesn't have to register anyway. So yeah, it's all a little bit confusing, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Now then, let's talk about the training ground. This is something that's been spoken about so much since the takeover went through. It was one of the first things Amanda spoke about when she came into the club, that the training ground needed to be improved. And the question has been, are we going to improve the current training ground, or are we going to move to a new site and build a new training ground? Well, The answer is both. We all knew that finding a new training ground location and building from the ground up was gonna take some time, and Murdad has said himself that really it's a 3 to 5 year plan for that to become a reality. So in the meantime, we are now looking to improve the current training centre to basically try and be up to scratch with what other, I was going to say Premier League, but what other Championship teams are currently offering. The request that we sent to North Tyneside Council in order to get permissions to improve the Longbenton training ground quite literally said that at the moment, the training ground is not fit for purpose for Premier League teams or most Championship teams. So that shows just how far we are behind. And yes, I will put the wheelie bin photo on screen for you guys now. We are looking to improve that. Eddie Howe has helped come up with some of the decisions on how to improve the training ground, and that includes hydrotherapy and plunge pools. It also includes a players' lounge, which I'm sure is Eddie Howe's doing, because as we know, he's trying really hard to create a community in the squad, and apparently there was nowhere for the players to hang out. So that's that, and they're hoping to have all of that done this summer. And then in the next 3 to 5 years, I very much look forward to hearing more about the purpose-built mega training centre, which is hopefully going to be available for the men's team, women's team, under 23s team, youth teams. Can we build a second smaller stadium there where the women's and under 23s can play their game? Can it be available to the public to go and watch those games? Can there be food? Can there be drink? Can it be like a proper community place? Would be tremendous. Where it's going to be, I've no idea. I'd love for it to be closer to St James's Park, but that's just not a thing. But yeah, look forward to hearing more on that. Now then, Newcastle have been linked with a whole host of players going into this summer window, and one of them is Lucas Paqueta, the Brazilian midfielder currently at Lyon. Fantastic player. It's Newcastle and Arsenal who appear to be the front runners for him at the moment, on a fee of around 40 million euros, I believe. And it just so happens that Bruno is best mates with Paqueta, coming out very recently and saying, Paqueta is my best friend. We made a relationship not only on the field, but we lived together all the time outside. It was a brotherly relationship. We still talk every day. It will be really cool if you could come here, but I can't do this job. So we know for a fact that Bruno is talking to him on a daily basis, and I've no doubt the club would snap him up if they could. So, Bruno's done a great job on the field. It sounds like he's also doing a bit of part-time work off the field as well. So if Bruno could get him up to the northeast, I think we'll be very happy to see him here. And if you don't know too much about Lucas Paqueta, I did do a full video on him talking about who he is, what kind of player he is, and how he could fit into Newcastle. So I'll put the link in the corner, but I'll put it down in the description as well. And to finish off, Eddie Howe has been asked again what his plans are heading into the summer window. As I said last week, I feel like as we head into the summer, the questions are only going to get more and more until we hit the summer, and then the rumours and speculation hit the roof. But it wasn't players coming in that caught my interest. It was what he had to say about players leaving this summer. Eddie Howe is always very careful when doing his interviews, especially when talking about the summer transfer window. And I do think a lot of that is even he's not 100% sure on what is going to happen this summer. But what he does talk about a lot is the evolution of the squad as opposed to the revolution, basically saying that he does not plan on getting rid of half the players and bringing in a new half. And you can kind of already see that with giving Paul Dummett a new 1-year deal. A lot of people would have said that maybe it was his time to go. Eddie Howe decided that it was a player he wanted to keep around the squad for, both on the pitch and off the pitch. But having said that, what he had to say in this recent interview really caught my attention. He said, I think every summer I've been in management, I've had to make difficult decisions at the end of the season. Players that you love and have had a great relationship with sometimes have to leave for the benefit of the team. So I don't know about you, but my instant reaction was Longstaff, a player who we thought would get a new deal, but seemingly hasn't materialised. We've seen Shaw get a new deal, we've seen Dummett get a new deal, but still nothing for Sean Longstaff. The last game he played in was the Norwich game, where he was a little bit underwhelming. But that would go against what Eddie Howe has said previously in interviews, because he has spoken about how he believed that Longstaff was a big part, an integral part of the squad. So it almost seemed like it was nailed on that Longstaff would get a new deal, but maybe not. Another player that I thought of was Lascelles. Again, the club captain, but a player who doesn't really get any game time anymore. Again, Eddie Howe has spoken about him as being an important part of the squad, behind the scenes, off the pitch, leadership role, helping with decisions. But if he's not going to get a game, then maybe it's him. Or maybe I'm just looking way too much into that, because there is a whole host of players that are currently linked away this summer, including Clark, Lewis, Hendrick, Gale, Gillespie, Darlow, maybe even Manquillo. You look at Hayden, he was out the squad. Will he be brought back in, or will he be looked to move on? Almiron has been linked away a whole lot. So he could be saying that about any one of those players. But yeah, when he said that, the players that shot to my mind were maybe Lascelles and Longstaff, but it could be anyone. I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's Toon Tuesdays. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and drop a like, and be sure to click here if you want to learn a little bit more about Lucas Paqueta, the man who's Bruno's best friend and we hope to see at St James's Park next season. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.